Welcome to The Cool Down, a Bailiwick Express podcast where we meet the people making the sports headlines. Hello, I'm Nick Mann, and this week I'm talking to Deloitte partner David Becker on the back of a fundraising challenge to walk laps of the Val de Terres for 24 hours. We dive into his background, motivation and top tips for going beyond what you think is possible. Please see the show notes for a link to donate to the charity grow. So we're talking on the back of the 24-hour Val de Terres challenge. Can you just give us a bit of an insight, first of all, how that idea came about?
Yeah, sure. I mean, actually, the kind of genesis of the idea was about 4 years ago, actually. So I was training for something called the BTU Jungle Ultra, which was a kind of race in the Peruvian rainforest. So over sort of 5 days. So myself and one of my friends, Ed Partridge, which were kind of training for that, and as part of the training, I decided it would be a good idea to go to the track at Foots Lane and do 24 hours around the track. And I had it all organised and ready to go, and then COVID hit. Literally, 2 days before I was supposed to do the event. So I was a bit gutted. So because we couldn't really do much and couldn't go outside or anything else, I think you're only allowed 2 hours of exercise. One of the guys in the office, Mike, decided that actually why don't we still do the 24-hour event but do it as an office, all covering a segment of time, and that's what we did. So we all did an hour or two at that point in time, which was great. So that was really the start. And then last year we decided that actually why don't we kind of embrace the kind of Everest Challenge, and with Smart for Georgie were kind of organising. So and so we decided to do 24 hours around Everest, and again got a number of people in the office sort of mobilised to do that. I was kind of injured at the time, so I couldn't really do the whole 24 hours. So I think I managed sort of 30 or 40 laps or something last year. So, but that was that was really the kind of start of it. And obviously this year, still a little bit injured, but just thought, why not? I'll try and do the whole 24 hours, and that's how we come to it as well. So,
What was your preparation like?
Not great actually. I've got to say, definitely didn't do as much training as I should have done. I had a steroid injection back in November, I think it was, just to try and sort out my injury, which hasn't done too much. But I was restricted to cycling really, rather than doing any walking or running. So I did quite a bit of cycling over Christmas, and decided that at least that gave me some kind of cardio exercise and did something for the legs. So ideally for a challenge like that, I would have done a lot more walking training or running training as well, to try and soften up the legs. So yeah, ideally I certainly would have done a lot more, but I think needs must at the time. So.
And how did it go?
Yeah, it was actually it was really good. It was I was kind of dreading in a way the night time. Because I managed to convince lots of people to do laps, but most people obviously prepared to do it during the day, but the night time was a big ask. I had one other guy with me, Seb, who was going to do the whole thing, but unfortunately got injured quite early on, so I was kind of dreading the kind of night session. But actually a completely surprise to me, I had a couple of colleagues who kind of flew over from Jersey, got the last flight over from Jersey to Guernsey, met me at 11:30 on the Val de Terres, much to my surprise, and stayed with me till about 5 a.m. So, and that really got me through the nights. But I think the lovely thing about the challenge was that I wasn't alone at any time during the race or the challenge. And actually it went by so quickly because I basically was just chatting for 24 hours, and chatting to lots of different people in the office, right from the most junior people right up to the partners, and some people I hadn't spent a huge amount of time with in the office, so it's really, really nice to actually get to know people, connect with people as well, and do something that was worthwhile really. So I actually found it slightly easier than I would have done if I'd been on my own. Absolutely. So
sounds like you're setting yourself up for another stage here. I don't know.
Potentially, it did cross my mind to try and carry on and do 100 miles rather than doing 100k. But I think everybody was waiting at the end, so I just thought maybe it would have been a bit rude. So, possibly could have gone a bit further.
So a good personal challenge, a good way of connecting with work colleagues as well, but also a good fundraiser.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, as a business, we've been associated with Grow for the last 5 years now. I think as a business, Deloitte generally has or selects a charity partner and has a 3-year partnership sort of with them as part of our sort of 5 Million Futures initiative. So we became involved with Grow 5 years ago. And I've done a number of sort of fundraisers for Grow over that time, but we were really keen this time around to try and raise as much money as we could. Bear in mind they've obviously just done their new premises, but there's lots of equipment and things that they need, to be able to use the premises properly, particularly on the, in the retail area and then this hospitality area as well. So we're really keen to try and actually buy specific things that could then be used as well. So so as a fundraiser, it's been excellent, really. I think we raised just over £2,000 so far, and we're looking to get match funding from Deloitte as well. So we should be raising upwards of £4,000. So I'm hoping that we can get to the £5,000 mark. So I think that would be really nice. So.
Yeah, we'll certainly put some links onto the story as well, so people can donate if they want to. Yeah. I was keen just to explore a little bit about where the motivation to take on these endurance challenges comes from. And so I guess just to start off from your perspective, when did you start?
Well, I've always enjoyed running. Even as a child, I used to run, but clearly not these types of distances. I suppose when I was probably in my late teens, early 20s, I did the Father's Day half a few times, and then just got lots of knee issues, so I didn't do anything for a number of years. And I guess when I turned 40, I did the what was the ITEX at the time, now the sort of Safari Champions Walk, and kind of completed that, and that was a real challenge. I think people really underestimate how difficult that walk is, and I remember sort of almost crying at the end of it. I was so relieved that I finished, but that kind of set me on a path to do other challenges. I kind of did that, and quite quickly afterwards I did something called the London to Cambridge, which is a 100k walk, again, never thought I'd be able to finish it, and then sort of finished that, and then I sort of carried on doing more, and I kind of found that actually doing more of the walking really strengthened my knees, and I suddenly found I could run again without having pain. So, and that then meant that I could start doing more events, did lots of marathons, ultramarathons, and so on, and I really enjoyed it, really. So,
you see, you talk about enjoying it, but obviously over such a length of time with any of these endurance challenges, there's got to be some periods that are going to be really tough. Could you explain how you sort of get through it? If there are any particular moments that you can think of, and how you manage to get through those?
Yeah, I find with long challenges, the first half normally is physical, in just getting through and getting to a certain point, but very quickly after that, your body starts to go numb in a way, and it's really your mind that is really important. Your body's telling you to stop, that it's not particularly sensible for you, but your mind kind of takes over, and especially when you've done a few challenges, you kind of know that you can get there. It's just a matter of just carry on and getting there, really. So it's difficult to describe, but I think it's that knowing that you can push yourself, more than you think you can in a way. So,
and it also, I guess, a really good chance to travel, see places, and meet new people.
Yeah, absolutely. I've done a lot of challenges in the UK, but again, seen lots of different sceneries. I've sort of done the London to Brighton, the Cotswold Way, the South Downs, North Downs, Lake District, and you actually get to see lots of different parts of the country, and you're obviously there for a significant period of time. So it's not as if you're in a train or a car where you zoom past. You actually get time to enjoy the kind of scenery. Always found as well when I go on holiday, always try and go for an early morning run, because there's nothing like seeing a city, for example, at 6 a.m. when there's no one else around. I remember going to Venice with the family, and I went for a run early in the morning. There was no one in the streets. I had the city to myself, and then came back a couple of hours later, and it was mob of tourists. So I think there's something really nice about being able to see something, see somewhere, in that kind of way, really. So.
Do you find as well that you're also experience places in a different way? I guess you really touched on it there a bit, but especially if you're on a long distance walk in the countryside, the sights, the smells, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's completely different, and I think it's the peacefulness of it as well. You're kind of away from people, sounds, and everything else, and you can actually focus and concentrate and just reflect on things really as well. I love the simplicity of walking. You just put your trainers on and go, and just put one foot in front of the other. And I think it just allows you to reflect. I mean, I've got a pretty sort of stressful job, so actually for me it's a nice release as well. It's nice to be able to, just not think of anything for a while actually. So.
And you got any other challenges lined up that you're looking at now?
Not too many. I'm actually doing a swim in September called the Dart 10K, which is it's an interesting swim. It's 10 kilometers long, as the name suggests, but it's kind of downriver, so you're kind of cheating a bit because you kind of get pushed by the current. So I've got that in September, but I'm thinking about potentially doing a 100-mile race in June. So I've never done a 100-mile race, so that's kind of the next goal. That's the sort of South Down way. I've got a friend doing it as well. So in a way, the kind of last weekend was a good test just to see how the legs react, because I've been injured for a while, so it's been quite nice to try and do something a bit longer. But that'll be the goal really. So
I know you've done so on foot, on bike. You did Ride London.
Ride London. Yeah.
Endurance swims.
Yeah.
This is sounding like a triathlon, I've got to say.
I mean, I did consider doing the Granite Man at some point. I just think the simultaneous training for 3 different events is a massive commitment, and I think with a stressful job and a family and everything else as well, I think it's quite a lot to ask really. So, but yeah, I am kind of doing all 3, and I tend to do kind of all 3 in training anyway, just to try and balance out the sort of training. So maybe do the sprint version this year, and then maybe think about graduating to the real thing. But my brother's done it. He's done the Granite Man a few times, so maybe try and train with him at some point. So.
And if you look back over the challenges that you have done, are there any highlights?
Yeah, it's weird. I was thinking about that before, and it's. I suppose they're all highlights in a way, because I think they've all been quite different. I mean, there's been some really fun challenges, like the Medoc Marathon, for example, which I've done 3 times. Keep going back, which is a marathon where you have a glass of wine every mile or so. So that's really great fun. I did the sort of Mont Blanc Trail this year, which is a 170 kilometre trail really around Mont Blanc, and I mean, that was just breathtakingly beautiful. It's the scenery is just absolutely amazing, and I was there with a number of friends, so that was a really enjoyable challenge. And there's been some tough ones as well. I mean, I know there's something called the Nutcracker in Guernsey, which is the cliffs there and back, and I'm not sure I'm keen to do that again anytime soon, because that was really quite tough as well, really. So. But yeah, all of them have been really enjoyable and just very different, really. So,
if you had any advice for the people that might be thinking about taking on a challenge themselves, what would the sort of key considerations be?
I think do the training. It's probably a key thing. The more you train, the less it hurts. I think is probably a good thing. I think there's lots of things with sort of ultra running, walking is. Looking after your feet, for example, the more you train, the more you harden up your feet, the less you get blisters. I know it's all common sense, but I think people sometimes overlook those kind of small details where, they can cause themselves quite a bit of harm. getting the right kit as well is important, and I think just from a mindset perspective, you can definitely do more than you think you can. Your body will hurt at some point, but that's the body telling you that you're getting into a place which is going to be uncomfortable. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to stop, unless you're obviously making or you're creating something that's going to be a problem later on in terms of an injury. But people say pain is temporary, which and it's true really. I mean, once you wake up the next day, suddenly it's not quite so bad. So yeah, just challenge yourself, and you can achieve more than you think you can. So.
That was the cool down. Thanks again for listening. Please like and subscribe for more. You can find all our sports news on gsy.bailiwickexpress.com and on all our social channels. Sign up to our daily email to keep up to date on all the work the Express team does.